Hi again. My name is Rebel and I'm the Rebel Reseller. And today we're going to be doing my What Sold video, which will be for last week.
Last year, last month.
It is for Monday through Thursday, March the 2nd through the 5th. All my sales are still terrible on eBay. Terrible. In fact, I keep hoping I never have to say these words again. But I had my lowest sales day ever on eBay this week. But thankfully, my other platforms are still stepping up for me. I think I've got maybe 15 sales on the other platform to share with you. So, in the grand scheme of things, it's okay. I just really truly cannot understand why eBay is so bad. In fact, I got a survey from eBay yesterday asking about my reselling experience for the last month. I'll let them have it. Including the promotion fees and the fact that you say it.
We are having to pay promoted listing fees for buyers that have never clicked on the promoted listing. It's because somebody else clicked on it.
Yeah, I'm not happy about that. I'm not happy at the fact that they keep changing the Seller Hub page. They took away the quick tool to get to, your sales. Why?
Rebel does not like change.
I don't like
She wishes
change.
her cell phone had a rotary dial on it.
I'm not that bad. It's just like, why keep making these changes that have nothing to do that makes the experience better for us? It's not. It's the Seller Hub page. Let it be. I didn't ask for them to change it. What else did we complain about? There were a couple of things.
One thing I want to point out is if you're doing a survey like this, if you go in and just mark everything 0, they're probably not going to give it much credibility. Maybe they average it in or something, but if a human is looking at it and everything is marked negative or, like the worst, I, as a reviewer, would be like, this person's just angry, and I wouldn't even consider what they have to say. So we made sure to, some things you marked, that, like you rated them 5 out of 5. Other things were 1 out of 5. Some things were a 4 or a 3 or a 2.
Yeah, unsure.
Right.
I had no opinion. But yeah, if you get them, answer them, especially about some of these changes that are just not necessary. All right, so let me go ahead and share with you the things that I sold on the first non-eBay platforms, and then I'll share some of the things that sold on eBay. And then I'll share some of Robert's stuff. First, I had 4 sales on Mercari. First one was this Hanna-Barbera Yogi Bear plush, sold for $8.46. And then this Walmart rabbit plush with the floral ears sold for $8. Sale is a sale these days, y'all. Bandai Digimon Warrior figure. Now, this had been listed forever, and it sold for $12.72. And this was a really nice sale. I'm trying to think where I got these. It had to have been at the bins. I don't remember. But they were a brand called Toto Toys. And they were a marble maze, kind of like the Discovery Toys ones. Those do really well also. So if you see them, definitely check the comps. But these marble maze run toys sold for $47.96. And then on Poshmark, I have 5 to share with you. And again, this is for that Monday through Thursday. First thing was this Disney Munchlings Minnie Mouse Red Panda set sold for $20. This tooth holder plush, and it was personalized Henry. I really didn't expect to sell that. Sold for $8.
Depends on the name.
True. I love the name Henry, though.
Some names are becoming more, popularity of names change, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I would expect that maybe Henry might be one of those that's coming more into being more popular now. And we had somebody at church, they just had a baby and they named their son Arthur, which is
older name.
But I think some of that stuff goes in cycles.
Next was this Nanco Cookie Monster plush, sold for $9. This Celebrity Stainless Steel Saucepan, sold for $25. Funny thing is I had like 3 pieces of this, and I think I've sold 2 of them in like the last month. And then this Tupperware blue and yellow stencil case holder with stencils, sold for $20. And then on Etsy. Now, Etsy, I currently am running a sale, and I'm not quite sure why it does it, but I wasn't running the sale during this time, and so it still marks the prices down. Like I sold them for this amount. I didn't. The sale wasn't going at the time, so I'll just tell you what they really sold for. First thing was this Thai Pillow Pals brown plush, sold for $19.95. I usually run a 10% off sale on there. This was a Dakin Cuddles Bear plush, sold for $34.95. I have a feeling I'm going to get a low mark on this. Not for anything that I did, but this has been an unhappy buyer for a while. She lives in Honolulu, and she claims that Etsy told her that she was going to get this in like 7 days. And she was expecting it to get there in 7 days. And she chose the Ground Advantage, which when I Googled how long does it take for a package to get from Tennessee to Hawaii, it said expect 2 weeks delivery. But she claims that I have ruined this whole experience for her because it didn't get there when it was supposed to get it there. In fact, I did where you go on the USPS website and ask them to keep you updated, and it finally got delivered today. Now this was probably, well, that week, the 2nd to the 5th. So, I mean, it took about 2 weeks for it to get there, but I have a feeling I'm going to get low marks on that. Etsy's not the type that takes those negative reviews down. So it is what it is.
So what you're telling me, the buyer ordered something ground shipping from Tennessee to Hawaii and is unhappy that it's going to take a while to get there.
Yeah.
That sounds like a buyer problem.
And I have priority as an option on Etsy. She could have picked priority, but it is what it is.
Back to Henry.
Henry.
In 2021, for the first time in a century, Henry was in the top 10 names in the U.S. And as of 2024, it was number 6.
Which that kind of makes sense. Think about it. It's been 5 years since it made a comeback. And that's about the time that a child is going to start losing its front teeth. So that's kind of funny. That is funny. All right. Next on Etsy was this Lauer Toys water baby doll with the outfit. It ended up being the original outfit. And it sold for $24.95. I probably could have got more for it, except the plug on the back was actually starting to separate from the doll. So more than likely, I guess you could try to repair it, and probably people know how to repair it, but you wouldn't be able to put water back in it at this point. All right, Douglas Chester, the black lab dog, sold for $24.95. And last but no, do more. All right, this was a Wrinkles the Dog hand puppet by Gons from 1981, sold for $19.95. And now, last but not least, this was another good sale. Robert picked up 2 sets of this plastic utensils made by Ultra Temp. We paid $6 for this set and $8 for a purple set. The purple set sold immediately. This set ended up taking a couple of weeks, and it sold for $50. All right, eBay. This is from that lot of Barbie stuff that I picked up at a kids consignment sale. Paid $8 for a huge bag. This was in it. Didn't really have any of the pieces and parts to this set, so I just sold the instructions. From 1980, they sold for $8.95. Rhythm and Blues women's jeans, making all these old clothes gone in my store, sold for $9. Another one of the Beth Moore CD and DVDs that I picked up. I paid $2 a set. I think this is the 3rd one now to sell. already made all my money back on that entire sale, which was nice. But this CD set sold for $25. Disney Christmas ornaments. I picked these up at the bins. I had to save them. Oh my goodness. They were just thrown in a bin, and they're all 4 of them are from the same time, so that one person must have donated all of these. They sold very quickly for me for $29.66. This was from the estate sale. I did so well at it. I ended up spending, I want to say, $200 or $300 that weekend. Do you remember how much we paid? We went back twice to that one. I want to say $200 maybe. I paid 50 cents each for these. I had these once before, so I knew they were something special. They were actually by Hasbro. They're called Bubblin' Flower Girls. They actually come apart, and there's a teeny tiny little bubble wand in there. They ended up selling for $30. This person has come back 3 or 4 times now and just keeps buying tons of my bears, mostly. This is probably the 3rd lot. There may be one more. She bought 7 bears for $52.50, and it included this fossil bear, a bear by Flowers Ink Balloons. This is one from Ron Bonifato. This is Hamleys of London, a little Russ Chick plush, a gunned Carlisle rabbit, and this Gons Bellyfuls. And she's already left me great feedback. So I so appreciate this buyer. She has just really been coming in and buying a lot of the bears, which is the thing that I really was happy to see a lot of it moving. All right, Harley Davidson Bull Plush bread and butter, $8.96. This person bought one and then came back and bought the second one. It was, you know, I don't think it was a person who had a whole lot of experience with eBay, and we really struggled communicating how she could go ahead and get the second one. But yeah, it just turned into a thing. But all's well that ends well, right? It was a We Believe rabbit plush, plays music, and they sold for $8.06 each. Meow, me meows. I bought a bunch at the bins this time. These 2 were a panda and a yellow bumblebee, and they sold for $16.16. This has been listed forever, and I actually had 2 of them listed. This one sold first, and I think next week the second one sold. I took less for the second one. I just wanted to kind of make them gone. But this was an Aurora terry cloth rabbit plush, and this one sold for my full price, $69.95. Anytime you see terry cloth, not all of them sell for a lot, but they are definitely worth the time to stop and look them up. All right, Aurora Marie cat plush. This one was so cute. I find a lot of Maries, but usually they're just plain. This one had a cute dress and a little gold princess hat crown, and it ended up selling for $24.25. Dandy lying down hound dog plush. Any of them that I find tend to sell very quickly for me. They're just popular, especially these larger ones. This one ended up selling for an offer of $18. Folkmanis Armadillo hand puppet plush sold for $12. And a Disney brown bear plush sold for $12.11. So like I said, my sales were not great on eBay, but the culmination of all 4 platforms, you know, not too bad for 4 days. And then for Robert. First, for Poshmark, he sold this Kellogg's Sesame Street Mini Beans plush lot for $15. He had 6 on Poshmark. This Cloud Island Bear plush from 2024 sold for $25. These Levi's 513 men's jeans sold for $14. American Eagle kick boot jeans. Y'all, these sell very quickly, but they need to be the kick boot jeans. These were a size 8 and they sold for $25. Tommy Hilfiger men's jeans sold for $13. And these 2 Lions skate sets sold for $25. Now this was for Mercari, but unfortunately...
Why you gotta drag this up again?
Unfortunately, this ended up being shipped by Ground Saver under UPS, and we accidentally let the post office take it. And we got a text update that the post office was not going to deliver it. It said that postage was due and they were not going to deliver it. So I'm assuming we'll never get this back.
It hasn't gone anywhere
Since like the 9th of March. So be really, really careful that if you are sending something UPS Ground Saver or FedEx SurePost, that you take it to the correct place, not the post office. You know, we've made this mistake once or twice before and it ended up tracking properly, but this time no. Somebody stopped it and somebody said, nope, we're going to destroy your package or put it in the, you know.
It was confiscated.
Yeah, it was confiscated, and it says right in the tracking, postage due will not be delivered. It doesn't say it's not going to come back to us, but...
I don't expect that it's going to, because it hasn't moved in forever.
Yeah.
It's been a week or two or whatever.
8 days, and it's not moved. So, unfortunately, don't be like us. And then on eBay, he had 4 sales for that 4-day time period. First thing was these Nike Pro women's pullover tops sold for $15. South Pole women's capri jeans sold for $10. Sasson women's jeans with the tapered legs sold for $24.01. And this Woolrich men's flannel shirt sold for $15.58. All right. We're going to try to get caught up on videos. I worked on a comps for a haul video, and I'm going to try to go ahead and get the second half of this done tomorrow. And then, will we be caught up? Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be caught up.
We'll be caught up then with videos.
I'm a little slow on getting some things done because
it's tax time.
It's tax time. I'm getting ready to start on that. I've got most of it done. We have a little wet area by the garage. The old bridge that I built was just 2x4 plywood, and it just sort of sagged down and became a dam and water. So I had to build a new bridge to get from the driveway. It's not like it's just a low spot. And when it rains, it gets very wet. I had to do that.
I don't want to jump puddles or go all the way around to get up to the door.
It's mowing season. I mowed on Saturday, the front half. RJ mows the back half on Sunday.
It was 78 degrees.
Monday, we got like an inch of snow. So, you mow one day, it snows the next day.
We had the air conditioning on, the heat on. And I'm thinking by, the next few days, it's going to be back to air conditioning again. All right, y'all. It's time to get to work. Bye. And then eBay.
You have 45.
It's on sale. If you would have listened to the beginning of the...
I was doing vital research about names. In my defense, you say crazy stuff sometimes. You'll hold up a hippo and call it a lion or something.